Over the past 16 years, I have had the absolute blessing and privilege of working with over 10,000 new clients and helping them hit their health and their weight loss goals. And hopefully they've learned a lot from me, but I've also learned a lot from them. And ultimately over the years, I've put together what I call my no BS guide to losing weight. 8 simple steps that I have found to be really powerful for my weight loss clients. I know there's a lot of misinformation out there on the market on how to lose weight, how to hit health goals. So I want to run through these 8 simple steps today. I know they're going to be really powerful. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. Hey, it's Dr. Jeremy. If you have ever done a Google search on how to lose weight, how to hit certain health goals, you will find thousands and thousands and thousands of blog articles, tutorials, videos on how to do that. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation out there, especially if you're following advice from a lot of TikTok videos and Instagram videos. I'm not saying everything is bad that's on there, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of confusion on what it takes to lose weight, and then even more importantly, maintaining the weight loss results. Like I mentioned in the introduction, I've worked with a lot of people over the course of 16 years, over 10,000 people, and I've gotten to see firsthand what works the best. And I'm not saying that my no BS guide to losing weight, these 8 simple steps, are the only ways of losing weight, but I will say wholeheartedly, if you start implementing these 8 things that I'm going to talk about with the advice and the recommendations of your primary care physician, just a disclaimer, but if you start implementing these 8 things, I can almost promise you're going to start hitting your health goals and you're going to start seeing weight loss. So I want to dive in to the first one. Step 1, cut out the BS, own your choices. If we can't get a grasp on this first one, the other 7 simple steps that I'm going to walk through are not going to be that simple. They're not going to be very easy to maintain. One of my biggest pet peeves in practice, and you'll hear me talk probably a lot about my pet peeves, but one of them is when people make excuses. And I tend to be allergic to negativity. I'm an optimist. I take action. So there's people that think different than me. And sometimes it's hard for me to just wrap my mind around that. But at the end of the day, when somebody comes in and they start giving me excuse after excuse on why they can't work out, on why they can't eat healthy, why they need to be on 20 plus, prescription medications, it gets frustrating because once you start realizing, and this is a harsh reality for a lot of people, and I say this with all sympathy and not trying to be harsh, but if you are overweight, doesn't matter if it's 10 pounds, if it's 100 pounds or 200 pounds, 99.9% of the time, you are overweight because of the choices that you made. We've been overeating. We've had a lot of processed food, or maybe we've been eating healthy, but we've been eating huge portion sizes. At the end of the day, when we gain a little bit of weight or a lot of weight, it's your choices that got you there. And you have to come to a crossroads of realizing that and accepting that. And the sooner that you can accept that, the easier it is to start making changes, especially these other 7 steps that I'm going to walk through. Now, I do realize on one side of it, there are things that happen to us. It could be, a health diagnosis that came out of nowhere, and it really didn't have a lot to what we were doing ourselves to earn that. So I do say that with sympathy. There are things that happen to us that are outside of our control, but more times than not, when it comes to losing weight, it's our choices that got us there. Step 2, get to moving. You have to exercise. There is no reason why you shouldn't be able to exercise. Unless you are maybe confined to a wheelchair or confined to a bed, I can understand that. But for most people, there's absolutely no reason whatsoever why you should not be exercising. The biggest pushback I get on this one is I don't have time. I'm running the kids around to practice. I'm helping my husband with these errands. I work 80 hours a week. Listen, at the end of the day, if it's a priority for you, you will make it happen. Very similar, if somebody wants a new car and they will start working overtime to make it happen. They'll maybe take a second job. They'll start working on the weekends, even though they don't want to. The truth is they make it a priority. And if we really want to hit our health goals, if we want to have more energy, If we want to look better for our spouse, we will do whatever it takes to get there and to make that happen. So with exercise, you have to make it a priority. And I'm happy with walking. If I can get people walking versus doing nothing at all, I'm so excited. And then I'll encourage them maybe walk to the mailbox and back if they have a lot of weight and it makes it hard to move. As that gets easier, I might say walk down, halfway down the street and come back. And once that gets easier, let's maybe go to the corner and back, and then ultimately around the block. And I have a buddy in Long Island that he went from 410 pounds down to 180 pounds by starting out with walking. And then over the course of 3 years, better food choices, and then getting a trainer, he was able to lose a significant amount of weight, but he started somewhere. Now to wrap up step 2, I will highly recommend, if your body is able to do this, do strength training. Really any type of resistance training. It could be bands, it could be body weight exercises, going to Planet Fitness, using the machines, doing free weights. Maybe it's the gym in your basement that's collecting dust. You want to make your muscle fibers soar in a good way. We lose muscle as we age as it is, and muscle is your metabolism. So if you ever told yourself, I have a slow metabolism, no, you might have a slow metabolism, but it's because you don't have a lot of lean muscle mass. So resistance training is one of the best things that you can do for fat loss. You shouldn't neglect cardio, but put more of an emphasis on making your muscles soar in a good way. Step number 3, have an open mind. Another huge pet peeve of mine. I'll have somebody come in and meet with me for the first time, and again, it's excuse after excuse after excuse of why they can't implement simple recommendations that I'm giving them. And I'll usually just kind of push back and say something like, it sounds like you already know how to do all this. I don't think we need to do anything else. I'll give them a few handouts and send them on their way. And usually right away, they're like, well, but I need help. I know I saw you on TV or whatever it was. And it's like, hey, if you want me to help you, you need to have an open mind. And I'm not calling anybody insane, but a lot of people know that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting different results. And a lot of times the level of thinking that created the problem can't solve the problem. And that's why it's good to seek advice from other people. If I go to my doctor because I have some health issues, I'm going in there with an open mind. Obviously, I can't figure this out. I'm hoping the professionals can help me with this. So please, if you're seeking help from your doctor or a nutritionist or your personal trainer, don't be a know-it-all. Act like you don't know anything at all. Go in there, have an open mind. You'll hit your goals significantly faster. Step 4, nutrition, nutrition, nutrition. You need to eat healthy. The problem is some people's definition of eating healthy is not really eating healthy. Just like some people's definition of I exercise all the time, they're not really exercising all the time. To them, exercising all the time is walking 10 minutes a day, 3 days a week. Most people are going to be like, really? That's your definition of working out all the time? It's a great start, but everybody has different definitions for things. So what most health experts will tell you when it comes to fat loss, it's going to be high protein, low carb, but throw lots of veggies in there as well. Now, it may be a little different for you. Always listen to your doctor, but more times than not, focusing. So if you have a plate of food, I would try to make it a priority to have some type of lean protein on your plate and some type of veggie. Chicken, turkey, seafood, eggs, plain Greek yogurt. There's a lot of different ways you can get protein. Red meat's okay periodically. I would stick with like lean cuts of red meat, and I wouldn't do it more than maybe once or twice a week. But that protein is going to help you feel full. It's going to actually keep you feeling full significantly longer than anything else. It's going to help you cling on to your lean muscle mass, and it's really good for your blood sugar. Veggies are a superfood. If you love them, go crazy with them. If you don't love them, go crazy with them. Learn how to love them, or even do maybe like a super greens drink to get some of those phytonutrients that you're missing. Healthy fats are really good for us in moderation. Keto, it's a fad diet. It's been pretty popular for the past 10 years or so, starting to fizzle out for a reason. But a lot of the research shows when you live on nothing but butter and bacon and fat bombs, it's double the risk of strokes and heart attacks. But don't run away from healthy fats. You do need some of those healthy fats. So nuts, seeds, almonds, avocados, olive oil, real butter versus fake butter. Definitely enjoy some of the healthy fats, but be a little cautious with them. And when it comes to fruit, really the more you think and act like a type 2 diabetic, the better off you'll be. A lot of type 2 diabetics tend to stick to berries. So blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries, they're low sugar, high in fiber, high in antioxidants. I would recommend really for maybe the first 3 weeks just to kickstart your fat loss, you may consider just getting rid of the fruit. I would also cut sugar where you can cut sugar. And then after a few weeks, maybe start throwing the berries in there. And then ultimately, when you get to where you want to be on the scale and your clothes fit well, then maybe consider throwing all types of fruit back in there. But most people do a lot of fruit, not realizing how much sugar is in the fruit. I know a lot of you are thinking, well, sugar in fruit's different than sugar in a candy bar. At the end of the day, sugar is sugar. There's more fiber in the fruit, which slows down how quickly the sugar gets into the bloodstream. But at the end of the day, 50 grams of sugar is 50 grams of sugar. And lastly, when it comes to carbs, think like a diabetic. Do healthy carbs. If it's white rice, white pasta, white bread, white tortillas, it's sugar. It breaks down into sugar. It's going to cause your blood sugar, A1C, to go up. Diabetics typically do the complex carbs, the brown rice, the sweet potatoes, the whole wheat pasta, the whole wheat tortillas. That fiber, again, is going to drastically slow down how quickly it breaks down into sugar. And to just kind of throw dairy in there as well, I'm not against dairy. Dairy, in my opinion, tends to be unnecessary calories that we really don't need. But if you want to enjoy a little bit of dairy, go for it, but just be a little cautious with how much you're consuming. 80% of the time, that's what I would recommend doing. And then 20% of the time, give yourself some grace, go on date nights, have the piece of cake, have the beer, have the glass of wine. You need to enjoy life. You can't run away from those things. But it's obviously a slippery slope for a lot of people. Be cautious with it. But about 80% of the time, just think, if God created it, if it was alive at some point, or if it doesn't have an ingredient label, it's going to be a lot better choice for you. Step number 5, water is not optional. I meet so many folks that don't drink water. They just don't like water. They don't like the taste of it. It's plain. They would rather drink tea all day or drink a pot of coffee. And you just can't do that. You have to drink water. And the rule of thumb is to take your body weight, divide that into 2, and that's how many ounces of water you should drink. So if you're 150 pounds, drink 75 ounces of water a day. If you're 300 pounds, you need to drink about 150 ounces of water a day. Days that you're not super active, you may drink a little bit less than that, but you should still aim for whatever that number is. Now, days that you're super active or you're outside working, you're sweating a lot, you may need to drink more than that. But water is nature's way of detoxifying the body. It helps with the digestive system. Most people are dehydrated. At one point, I saw a stat where roughly like 98% of Americans are dehydrated. We need to make water a priority. If you want flavored water, there's a lot of different options out there. We own NoLabelNutrition.com. We have energy powders, hydration powders, where you can put that in your water, flavor it, and make it more tasty. But you have to make water a priority, no exceptions. Number 6, you have to get rest. And this means good quality sleep. Now, sometimes people take the definition of rest and they're like, oh, I'm gonna rest, I'm gonna work out 2 days, 3 days this week and then take rest days for the rest. No, don't do that. You really only need about 1 to maybe 2 rest days a week when it comes to exercise, but it is really important every night to get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. 5 hours is not good adequate rest. 6 hours, 6.5 hours is not good adequate rest. You need a good 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep every night. And I'm talking good quality sleep. So I wear an Oura ring. I get no kickback from Oura. I wish I could. But Oura rings do a really good job tracking your sleep, so you can see what your deep sleep is, you can see what your REM sleep is, how long it took you to fall asleep. I know Apple Watches can do the same thing. I have found Oura to be one of the best devices I've ever used for tracking sleep. I've been wearing this for almost 9 months. It's absolutely phenomenal, but you have to make sleep a priority. If you don't get enough sleep, your cortisol levels elevate, which is a stress hormone. It's also a belly fat storage hormone. And it's just a lot harder to have energy to do a lot of these other things. Step 7, calories in, calories out. Weight loss at its foundation, the cornerstone of weight loss, you have to be in a calorie deficit to lose body fat, plain and simple. I get so many arguments on this and people blaming everything else on hormones and their life circumstances. No, at the end of the day, just like step number one, owning our choices, cutting out the BS excuses, if you are not in a healthy calorie deficit, you're not going to lose body fat. It's as simple as that. If you're gaining body fat and you feel like you're eating really healthy and you're working out all the time, and literally like gaining body fat, not muscle mass, but you're gaining body fat, it just means that more days than not, you're eating more calories than what your body needs. So there's some balance to all of this because you can't starve yourself. You want to cling on to your muscle mass for dear life. If you're not getting enough calories, most of the weight you're losing is not just body fat, it's lean muscle mass, and muscle is your metabolism. So it's really important not to go too low with your calories. Now, in general, for both men and women, you should really never go below 1,000 calories per day, unless it's strict doctor supervision. But even then, I would question the doctor. Try not to go below 1,000 calories per day. Now, with women, we recommend on non-workout days staying right around 1,200 calories. On workout days, maybe up in the calories, 200-300 calories more. But with that workout, you're burning maybe 300, 400, 500 calories, therefore still putting you in a calorie deficit. Women need about 1,400 calories per day to maintain body weight. So when you're at that 1,200 calories, plus throwing some workouts in there, it's putting you in a nice healthy calorie deficit, but you're building that lean muscle mass. And that's why protein is also really important. Now with men need about 1,700 calories per day to maintain body weight. So we'll say to men on a non-workout day, 1,400, 1,500 calories. And then on a workout day, again, add another 200-300 calories to that, but burning 300, 400, 500 plus calories with the workout. But I don't care what your excuse is, what your reason is, you have to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. And to just emphasize this a little bit more, I've talked about this in other videos. There's a professor at K-State, Mark Hobb, and this is back in 2010. But the last time I checked, he actually still teaches at K-State. And even Jillian Michaels, trainer from The Biggest Loser, she was talking about him on TV yesterday. He became really well known for doing the Twinkie diet. He wanted to show his students that you can literally live on Twinkies and donuts and Hostess cakes and cereal and lose weight. So he needed about 2,400 calories per day to maintain his weight. He went down to, I think it was like 1,800 or 1,700 calories. And over the course of 10 weeks, he lost 27 pounds living on junk food. His good cholesterol actually went up 20%. His bad cholesterol dropped 20%. I believe his BMI went down like 10 points or something like that. And he, stressed that this is not a healthy way of losing weight, but it proves the point of energy balance, thermogenesis. It's calories in, calories out. And finally, number 8, your mindset is huge. I am a very optimistic, glass half full person. I tell people I'm allergic to negativity. It drives me absolutely insane. When I hang around somebody that's a very negative, pessimist person, it just sucks the life out of me. Mindset is huge. I still stress, number 1, owning your choices, cutting out the BS excuses is one of the biggest things that you can do, but also telling yourself, I'm going to lose the weight. I am going to hit my health goals, not the I've tried everything to lose weight and no matter what I do, I can't lose it. You can't be like that. You have to have a very open, positive mindset. If you need help with that, go work with a professional that can help you with mindset. Read books on how to build a more optimistic, glass half full mindset. I can't stress that enough. If you tell yourself you will fail, you will fail. If you tell yourself that you're going to succeed, more times than not, you're going to succeed. My son yesterday, taking him to soccer tryouts, which are all week, he was telling himself, he's like, I'm not going to make the team. I won't even make the C team. And he's a really good soccer player. And I'm like, bro, like if you keep telling yourself that, you're 100% correct. You are not going to make the team. But I can almost promise you, if you start telling yourself, I'm going to make the team, most importantly, I'm going to make JV or varsity, and you work your hardest, buddy, you're probably going to make the team. So mindset matters tremendously. So to wrap up these 8 steps, I know they might be a little easier for some people. They could be really, really hard for others. But at the end of the day, it's just really important to start taking these baby steps and incorporating these things. And if I had to give you my recommendations for just two places to start. And it's something I do tell a lot of my clients on day one. Think about, what am I putting in my body and what am I doing with my body? Because there are a lot of variables and factors that make it difficult to lose weight, but at the end of the day, the two common denominators tends to be, what am I eating and what am I doing with my body? Try to go high protein, lots of veggies, go lower carb. Again, ultimately listen to your doctor. And when it comes to activities, start out with walking. And as walking gets easier, let that be a little bit of jogging. And then maybe it's, if you're on a treadmill, put the incline up so you're using more of your lower body muscles. Slow the speed down, higher incline, work the muscle groups. Get into doing some body weight exercises. If you have a gym membership, stop donating to the gym and start going and using it. So baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. Go back, watch it again, watch it 2 or 3 more times. Take notes, write these down, talk to your doctor about these 8 steps. I'm not saying these are the only 8 things that you should be doing. There's a lot of other things you can do. But at the end of the day, we want to try to keep this simple. Keep everything that you do as simple as you possibly can. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. Again, HIPAA, don't ask a lot of personal questions, but put questions in the comments down below. Click on the like button if this video has been helpful for you. And a lot of the viewers of my channel are not current subscribers. We have a lot of subscribers, but a lot of them are not subscribers. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. Go back, watch the older videos that are still relevant today. And I love doing YouTube shorts. I have a lot of 60-second tutorials and how-tos in the YouTube shorts. So be sure to check that out. And the next video that's coming, I think you're gonna love it. Stay tuned.